Welcome to the 2024 NFL Draft Preview Show, where it appears as though the first pick is in.
With the first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft Special, 13 News Now picks Brian Smith, VCU.
No surprise here, folks. Brian Smith, a Hall of Famer already. He's covered Daytona 500, Super Bowls, ACC championships. Scouts have really only found one weakness in his resume. He is a New York Mets fan. We'll see if he can overcome that as the #1 overall pick. Now back to the green room, where it appears as though Connor Real is getting a call.
With the second pick in the 2024 NFL Draft Special, 13 News Now picks Connor Real, Virginia Tech.
Bit of a surprise here, folks. Real expected to go much lower after GMs say he was the first prospect they've seen talk too much during the interview process. We'll see if he can pipe down, but it seems unlikely. And just in time, Julia Haskins, handed the phone by her agent, doesn't appear to want to take the call. Let's see what we got.
With the third pick in the 2024 NFL Draft Special, 13 News Now picks Julia Haskins, Clemson University.
And what a pick. Haskins, a promising young prospect, recently ran a 6.51 40-yard dash, 13 reps on the bench press. The station still buzzing about her combine performance.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Oh, wow.
All right.
Man.
We're here.
Drafted.
We just got drafted.
How did it feel?
We did it.
Oh, that felt the best day of my life. What about you
I
guys?
was terrified the entire time. That was nerve-wracking.
Well, onto the real stuff, though. This is the 13 News Now 2024 Draft Special. With me, Julia Haskins, Connor Real. Connor, what do we got going for tonight?
What do we not have going?
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to talk about the Commanders' #2 draft pick. Obviously, we're going to analyze some of their options. Julia, what else do we have?
Well, we've got some local ties that we're going to talk about, too. We're going to see a little bit of a familiar face chalking it up in the weight room.
Perhaps someone that's on this stage right now. But first, there's really only one place to start, right?
Yes.
I mean, UVA's Malik Washington burst onto the scene this year, making himself a legitimate draft prospect. We caught up with him earlier this month as he prepares for the big day. In his 4 years at Northwestern, Malik Washington played in 40 games, totaling 120 receptions for 1,248 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. In his one graduate transfer year at the University of Virginia, Washington had 110 receptions for 1,426 yards and 9 touchdowns. So, yeah, he's already kind of done the hard part of forcing the NFL to pay attention. But there was still work to be done and nerves to be had in the pre-draft process.
Kind of anxiety leading up to the combine, goes down a little bit, it leads back up to the pro day.
Despite leading the country in receptions, breaking the ACC record for receptions in a season, and breaking the UVA record for receiving yards in a season, Washington still felt he had a lot to prove to NFL scouts.
Just wanted to show some versatility. I wanted to show that I could do everything and anything. I wanted to show that I could be smooth and I could catch everything, I could be reliable. And I think I kind of showcased that throughout these 3, separate events.
But after a whirlwind year that catapulted him from a good college receiver to a likely NFL draft pick, all that's left to do now?
Waiting to see what happens on draft day. But for right now, I feel good to kind of check some boxes. And now I just end up where I'm supposed to end up.
Then it'll be back to work for the Who's surprise superstar of 2023.
Now, it is the dream of every football player to get to the NFL, but in reality, most won't. For those that do and have a chance to get their name called by the commissioner is a lifelong goal. We caught up with several former area players who got that very experience.
I just remember dozing off, just waiting to hear my name called.
You're on pins and needles all day. It was amazing.
It just hit me all at once.
A full range of emotions from those who lived it. As we get closer to the 2024 NFL Draft, those who were fortunate enough to get that famed call varied in their reactions. Case in point, State Senator Aaron Rouse. The Virginia Beach native was a safety and played his college ball at Virginia Tech. He had to wait a bit and was taken in the 3rd round by the Green Bay Packers in 2007.
You want your name to be called. You're thinking about the culmination of work that you put in throughout not only your collegiate career, a life-changing moment.
For fellow Beach native Eli Harold, there were mixed emotions when he was also taken in the third round as a defensive end out of the University of Virginia. As great as it was to be taken by the San Francisco 49ers in 2015, he was missing a key person in his life to celebrate it with. His mother, Sheila Corvette, lost her battle with pancreatic cancer when he was just 16.
With all that goodness that was going on at that moment, a damper was put on that quick, because looking around, seeing everybody, someone was missing, right? My mom wasn't there.
But what if your name hasn't been called at all? That was former Norfolk State Spartan defensive end Lyndon Trail's journey. He went undrafted the same year as Harold, despite having a stellar career at NSU, in which he was a three-time FCS All-American, showed out in the East-West Shrine game. He wound up signing with the Houston Texans, something he thought was actually a blessing.
The beauty of it was you got the opportunity to pick where you wanted to go, as opposed to where you were getting slated to go.
At the other end of the spectrum, Norfolk native Bruce Smith didn't have such worries. In his case, he already knew he was going number 1 overall in 1985 out of Virginia Tech to the Buffalo Bills even before the draft started.
They told me 3 months ahead of time that they were going to make me the number 1 pick in the draft, and the rest is history.
His stellar 19-year career landed him in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2009, starting with Buffalo and finishing with Washington as the all-time career sack leader. All agree they wouldn't trade the experience for anything.
God had a plan, and I've been more than happy with, what I've been able to present.
Man, I have no regrets, because those things that we went through, it made us and molded us into what we are now.
The look in my mother and my father's eyes, their son had made this incredible accomplishment.
So cool to see those guys reminisce and take a trip down memory lane. But we've got another local athlete hoping for a draft experience of his own. Willie Drew showed out at the NFL Combine, but as we found out here, that experience almost didn't happen at all. Perhaps there is no bigger typo than the NFL Combine sending an invitation to the wrong email.
Unfortunately, they had sent it to the wrong email, so I didn't really get my invite.
Smithfield native Willie Drew nearly missing the opportunity of a lifetime.
I had to talk to my agent. My agent was like, "You have the invite, dude." So it's like, what's the miscommunication? So they had the wrong email, but we all worked it out.
Drew made sure he wouldn't be missed once he got there, running a 4.46 40-yard dash.
When I got there, we was working on that time. We was working on chopping the time down each week.
Look, coming from Virginia State, he had a ton of production.
But before the defensive back was intercepting passes in the secondary for Virginia State, Drew was the starting signal caller for the Packers.
The first time I knew that he was going to be special, he ran it in for 50 yards for a touchdown. They called another holding penalty. He said, "Coach, run it again." We didn't let him come off the field. But instead of taking tackles, Drew preferred making them.
I love defense because you can hit people. So that's what I fell in love with, making tackles.
From Smithfield, Drew committed to play for JMU before getting injured 7 games into his sophomore season. Then a tumultuous COVID year hit, and Drew hit the portal.
Virginia State was the first opportunity that reached out to me. Them giving me that second chance, it just fueled me up. It just put fuel to the fire. But I knew I had a main goal, and that was to reach the NFL.
In 2023, Drew was named the CIAA Defensive Player of the Year. Now, as just one of 2 HBCU players invited to the Combine and the only one from a Division II school, Drew says if you do your job, they'll notice.
It doesn't matter which school you're at. You can be a D1, D2, D3 guy. The NFL will find you.
Even if it takes a couple extra emails.
There's a kid from Smithfield, Virginia, a small town. Like, the 757 produces great NFL products. So hopefully I'll be the next one.
A 4.46 40
Wow.
dash. What do you think of that, B. Smith? And what would your 40 time be? Do you know?
It would be timed by a sundial. So yes, very slow is the translation. What do you think yours would be?
B. Smith, I was hoping you would ask.
Yeah.
Maybe we should find out.
We should find out.
Let's see. Let's take a look. "40 yards, got nothing. Got nothing on me."
Julia, I clocked you at a 6.51, our fastest time on the day. How do you feel?
I mean, this is just everything I've dreamed of. This is opportunity. Fastest person here, fastest gal here. That's all I could have ever wanted. Full speed.
Go.
It's like riding a bike. It just feels like a baby in my arms. Seriously, just cradle this thing, take it as far as I can, break the wheels off this place, and I'm good to go.
Ten, 12.
Julia, bench press done. 12 reps, the most we've had today. Incredible. Incredible. How do you feel?
I honestly feel great. Felt like I was bench pressing a popsicle. I think I could do even better next time around. 32 scouts here to see me. I hope they're liking what they're seeing so far and ready to keep getting to work here. Keep working.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I really impressed myself with that performance. And look, all right, the Washington Commanders have 6 picks in the top 100 in next week's draft. So obviously, I'm going to be taking some PTO to await the opportunity of a lifetime.
Wow. Wow, a startling display of athleticism from Julia Haskins. I wouldn't be surprised if calls from NFL teams are already flowing in after that combine performance. Incredible stuff. And obviously, the combine is a part of a wider world of draft analysis. And no one's better at draft analysis than Mel Kiper Jr., who we could not get. Apparently, he's busy at this time of year. So, someone with the same appearance fee as Mel Kiper Jr., straight out of Napa, California. Former 13 News Now sports director Scott Cash joins us for a little draft analysis. Scott, looks dreary there. Cloudy, overcast. How's it going?
Just another 75-degree day here. Lots of sun, and it's so glad to see you.
Great to see you as well. I think you and I are going to need to engage in a little bit of draft history debate. Does that sound all right?
I love it.
All right, we'll start with Commanders as we do. Scott Cash covered the Commanders for how many years?
38.
38. Now we're going with who is the best draft pick in Washington pro football franchise history?
You'll have to excuse me because I'm old. I'm going to take you back in the Wayback Machine. A guy who went to Hampton High School, Chris Hamburger, was picked in the 18th round, 245th pick overall in the 1965 draft. He's a Hall of Famer. 14 years, all with the Commanders as a linebacker, 9 Pro Bowls. He was pretty good.
You said 18th round?
Yeah, they had 18 rounds back then.
Yeah, no. See, the only drafts I know stop at 7. So that is. Right. I got to try to top this. And,
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the 16th round is going to be really difficult to overcome. You've put me in a tough spot here, okay? And you got the local connection. If you see, Scott Cash has moved somewhere much more tropical, but he's Hampton Roads for life. I'm going to name 2 football players that you may have heard of here.
Okay.
Okay. Bart Starr, Tom Brady. Are they familiar?
Well,
okay.
Yes.
Well, they are in a group with my selection as the 3 lowest drafted Super Bowl MVP winning quarterbacks. Mark Rippon, 6th round pick number 146 in the 1986 NFL draft. That's a heck of a value proposition there.
I just love that pick. I was able to be at his Super Bowl win over the Buffalo Bills in Minneapolis.
That brings us really nicely into our next topic. Our biggest NFL draft busts of all time. I will go first. I got to go back to 2007. In 2007, there's an LSU Tiger on the board. He's a Sugar Bowl MVP. He's 6'6", 250-plus pounds. How can this guy miss? Jamarcus Russell.
How could this guy miss? Yeah, complete epic failure. What did he last, 3 years?
He lasted 3 years, and I want to read you some statistics from his 2009 season. And he went 48% completion percentage, 1,287 yards, with a passer rating of 50. What really adds to this is 6 years, $69 million, $31.5 million guaranteed, Scott. This was back before the rookie pay scale. All right. The Raiders kind of realized this might not work out. They filed a grievance asking for $9.5 million back. They asked for a refund on their #1 overall draft pick. Who does that? This isn't, Food Lion. You can't get a refund.
Al Davis does that, or did that.
That's a great point.
No, I love it. Dad, I'm going to go back to the Commanders with the 3rd pick in the 1994 draft out of Tennessee, 2nd overall in the Heisman Trophy balloting quarterback Heath Schuler. He didn't last more than 3 years in Washington. As a matter of fact, 8 games into the season, he sprained his ankle and was replaced by the guy they picked in the 7th round, Gus Frerotte. In 3 years as a starter, the Commanders won 4 of those games.
What? He's got 4 wins in his career?
As a starter for the Commanders, yeah.
I think that's a great way to end it. The Washington Commanders have the #2 pick in this draft. It could be their greatest pick of all time. If it doesn't work out, it could join that list we talked about of the biggest busts of all time. That's coming up a little later on. We're going to analyze that pick. But for now, we toss it over to Brian Smith.
When a college player is drafted by an NFL team, the league itself has various programs that help get that player settled in as quickly as possible. We caught up with a Hampton Roads native who takes it from there. Carl Francis has been the communications director for the NFL Players Association the past 30 years. He's that person who helps guide not only incoming players into the next chapter of their lives, but their families as well.
It's like the ecosystem that they're dealing with now, right? So it's not just them, everybody involved to say, what is this new process of interest to pursue my dream?
The Hampton native sets up seminars for players, giving them their version of the school of life in the NFL.
What to expect your first week, what to expect right after you get drafted, what to expect what your first day in training camp, what your first day at the facilities.
They have a separate one for their families as well.
Miles Garrett dad, Lawrence Garrett, come and talk. We've had Odell Beckham's mom, Heather. She's come and participated and gave great information to our young parents.
It is then, Francis says, they get to do the ultimate thing they've always enjoyed.
My dream is fulfilled. Now it's time to go fulfill my dream and play football.
And of course, quarterback is the most important position in football. 21 out of 25 MVPs this century have been QBs, including the last 11. But the Commanders have not been able to find one. They've tried quite a few. There's been hometown heroes, of course, Taylor Heineke, promising prospects, Sam Howell, the one that got away, Kirk Cousins, and of course, veteran signings. You remember Ryan Fitzpatrick, and they've tried out quite a few first-round picks. Starting in 2002, with the last pick of the first round, the Commanders took Patrick Ramsey out of Tulane University. Walking into a Steve Spurrier-led offense, Ramsey started 24 games in 4 years, posting a 10-14 record and 75 sacks. Spurrier resigned in 2003, and Ramsey was traded to the New York Jets for a 6th-round pick 2 years later. Which is all right, because Washington traded up to pick Jason Campbell with the 25th choice of the 2005 draft. He started 52 games over 4 years for Washington, 20-32 overall, but he went 4-12 in his final season before being traded to the Raiders for a 4th-rounder in 2010. 2 years later, Washington traded up again, this time all the way up to number 2 to select Heisman Trophy winner Robert Griffin III. And look, you know the rest. One of the greatest rookie seasons of all time, tearing his ACL in the playoffs. The next 2 years, a constant battle with injury and inconsistency as the entire franchise, the entire region, waited for the magic of 2012 to return. Only it never did, and in March of 2016, RG3 was released. And the most recent, Washington took Dwayne Haskins with the 15th pick in the 2019 draft. after Haskins threw for 50 touchdowns at Ohio State. Now, Haskins and the Commanders parted ways after 2 years, but tragically, Haskins didn't get the chance to live up to his immense potential with his new team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, after an accident took his life in April of 2022. The Commanders haven't picked a signal caller in the first round since, until this year, when they hold the number 2 pick in a draft full of highly coveted quarterbacks. Will they finally get it right, and who should they choose? Well, perhaps it's time to let the fans decide.
Well, you got to go quarterback.
They should definitely pick a quarterback.
So we know the position. How about the player?
Well, they shouldn't have let Taylor Heineke go to begin with.
That's fair, but I mean a new player.
I'm a Patriots fan, so I don't want them to draft J.J. McCarthy. Anyone else, that's fine.
Luckily for Pats fan Robert Cochran, there has been very little McCarthy to Washington talk. The Michigan man is projected as the 4th quarterback in this draft.
But unfortunately, Caleb Williams is going to be gone.
And lifelong Commanders fan Nate Griffin is right. Caleb Williams is expected to go number 1 to Chicago, leaving 2 suspected options for D.C.
Now that they put themselves in this position, they got to pick a winner, and he's at LSU, and that's who they need to pick.
Jaden Daniels won the Heisman Trophy last year, his best in college by far.
Jaden Daniels.
And why?
Clear pick. He's more athletic. He's ready to play. He can be a quarterback from day one.
He's got a ton of experience, 55 games over 5 years between Arizona State and LSU. He led the country in passing efficiency and ran for over 1,100 yards as a senior for the Tigers. Daniels can do it all.
He's my guy.
I think he's the pick.
But there are concerns about his durability, standing 6'4", but just 210 pounds at the NFL Combine.
Get an offensive line that can support him. I think he's going to be great.
Then there's the other option.
I've seen Drake May play at Carolina many times. I believe Drake May is really going to be the one.
Physical build seen more as a strength for Drake May, as he fits the prototype for an NFL QB.
But Drake May has the size and he has the arm.
But experience and acumen are questions. With just 30 starts in his college career and a major drop-off between his sophomore and junior seasons, May is a project.
Skill can kind of be taught, but having like the right build is important, and I think skill is something that can be taught.
But as was the case from Patrick Ramsey to Daniels and May, a lot of this depends on the team as much as the prospect, a coaching staff that can develop, offensive weapons that can contribute, and of course,
Let's keep them off the ground, and if we can keep them off the ground and keep them upright, we would hopefully be very successful.
All right, no matter who they pick, you gotta protect the quarterback.
Yes.
The question on every Commanders fan's mind. We'll find out the answer on draft day. But for now, we've covered a lot here today, guys.
Meaty portion of it, yes.
Julie, how are you feeling after that combine?
I'm still sore. I'm still a little sore. I haven't sprinted in probably like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
So I'm still recovering. But
I'm sore from watching you. That's just me.
Now, I do think there's one. You're always sore, Brian.
I'm always sore, yeah.
I do think there's one thing that we haven't covered. The NFL Draft is a bona fide fashion show.
Yes, it is.
All right? These guys are dressed to impress. I think we should finish this off by going over some of our favorite fits.
All time. Let's do it. I'll start things off. I'm going to take things back a couple years. 2019, first overall pick, Kyler Murray. Ooh, look what we have here. This whole thing was inspired by his favorite movie, The Great Gatsby. It's the same suit that Gatsby wore in that movie. I love the pink. We've got the green light from the movie as well. You see the little subtle undertones. I love it all. I love it. To the Cardinals, of course, as we know. I love the button-up jacket underneath the jacket. We've got a little layered approach there. The more than an athlete underneath the jacket. I'm all for this one, head to toe. It's just so clean. I love the light pink. All around, 10 out of 10, guys.
Even the Titans fans were impressed.
I saw that at the end, yeah.
That was pinstripes? That
Love
was
it.
Tasty. What you got, B-Smith?
Very dapper. Now I'm going to go off the grid in this one. 2016 NFL Draft, Ezekiel Elliott showing off the midriff portion of himself.
Crop top? Are we crop topping?
Crop top. I can relate.
You rock the crop top?
No.
Okay, all right, just Z.
No. Yeah, there would just
Plus the bow tie, too. I like that.
It works. It wouldn't work for me, but it's okay.
You don't see many bow ties.
No, you don't. You don't.
Or crop tops.
But we do have something after that. How about Cordell Patterson, 2013 draft himself?
Oh, another bow tie.
Oh, double bow tie.
I spoke too soon.
I love the straps, though, a.k.a. the suspenders. The only problem I got, you got to get the ones with the stitch buttons in them. Has a little more style to it. that reminds me of maybe like a 65, 70-year-old man walking down the street in shorts with the clip-on straps. Doesn't work for me, but looks great on him.
Can we do something here, B. Smith?
Yes.
If the New York Mets win the World Series, you will wear a crop top on air. I think that is fair.
First of all, we know that's not going to happen.
You don't have to worry about it.
I'm talking about the Mets not winning the World Series.
What about a bow tie? What about a bow tie?
I could rock a bow tie, but not a bow tie with a midriff.
Compromise.
One or the other.
I'll give you a bow tie. I can do that.
None of it's going to happen because the Mets ain't winning the World Series. Let's get back to football.
Not yet, but
that's
yes.
right. That's right. Now, I've been told by a number of viewers, family, friends, that I am quite possibly the worst dressed sports media personality in the area. Obviously, I don't agree, but I do take that responsibility very seriously. And so I figured for my pick, we got to go Joe Thomas here. Famously skipped the draft to go fishing.
That's good.
But now here's the thing about this outfit. Functional.
Yeah, it is.
Right? He's got sun cover. He's got the Under Armour. He's repping Wisconsin, the school from which he was drafted number 3 by the Cleveland Browns. This outfit is useful for when you're fishing. So what is the definition of best outfit?
You know I'm a cap guy, too, so he's rocking the right cap. He's rocking a cap that's stylish.
You are a hat man through
I'm a hat
through.
man
He's
through
got
and
the
through.
shades on, so I'm going Joe Thomas. Julie, your thoughts?
It's authentic. He's a football player, NFL player, but also a fisherman.
Yes.
That's right. Also a fisherman.
Doubles as both. I love it.
Yeah. Will we get anyone in fisherman outfits this year? I don't think so, but you're going to have to watch the draft to find out. Thank you for watching the 2024 NFL Draft Show. I don't know if you guys remember, we got drafted.
We did.
We got stuff to do.
We got places to be.
We've got training camp. We've got OTAs. We got to do more sprints. We're going to be sore.
OTAs, I'm sore. My gosh, really already? I thought we were done with working out.
No, we're never done.
No, we're never done.
Got drafted. You're right. Thank you for watching.